Welcome back to the Citizen Channel. Hope you're all staying safe and well now. One of our regular features, about 60 times a season, this, isn't it? Match report, yes. Southampton 1, Manchester City 1 on the 22nd of January at St Mary's, 5:30 p.m. kickoff. Yeah, I was down there yesterday, guys. Disappointing thing for me that I hate going into a break, a winter break, international break, whatever it is, not winning a game, because I just, gets me down a little bit. But we can't win them all, can we? I mean, all right, unlucky for some 13 and all that sort of thing, but it is what it is, and we have to take the point, and perhaps that'll be important, as they say, isn't it? We always say that at the end of the season. Come the end of the season, that point at Southampton, remember that was very, very important to us winning the title, etc. So we'll talk about the league later on. Please, if you're new to the channel, we are monetised now, or if you're old to the channel, we're monetised now. You probably noticed that. So you can watch any of the ads or follow any of the links. It'll help me out with the channel going forward, and it'll help me continue to put out the content I do, which, I keep trying to innovate and redo all the time, and I hope you enjoy that. Please, thumbs ups are always appreciated, and tell your friends, tell your City fan friends, and press that notification button so you get to know when this multitude of vlogs come out. I can honestly, I think I'm unrivaled as far as content's concerned from any other City channel, whether paid or not paid for, but there's some great channels out there, but I do my best for you guys, so your support is appreciated. Right, City lineup. I'm not going to bother with the Southampton lineup. It's City, isn't it? We've got a lot to talk about today. Two different to what I thought. Yeah, Laporte and Grealish weren't in my starting team. I thought Stones might get another game, and I thought Jesus might start the game. Might not have been a bad idea, but Laporte was useful, wasn't he? So what do I know? There you go. Edison, Walker, Cancelo, Diaz, Laporte, Rodri, Bernardo, KDB, Foden, Sterling, Grealish. Good enough to do the job. The bench wasn't looking overly exciting, was it? Carson, Slicker, Stones, Aki, Wilson, Esbrand, Fernandinho, Gundogan. Surprised he's not getting a look in at the moment. McAtee and Jesus, of course. So no Palmer on there. So interesting. So not the greatest bench. When you look at United's bench yesterday, it's certainly, they're going about squad sizes, but they had perhaps potential to come off the bench if you look at their game compared to us. Simon Hooper was in charge, one of the more inexperienced referees, shall we say. And Darren England, well, I saw a thing on social media where obviously it was saying that he was a United fan with a tattoo. Obviously, that's been added to the Wikipedia thing. I'm not too sure the veracity or the truthfulness in anything like that. I'm sure Darren England is totally unbiased, and yeah, we'll talk about that as we get through this. Right, on to the match report. Not our greatest performance. We didn't manage to grab 3 points like we have done when we've not played well, particularly. Let's not be honest about it. In our 12-game winning run, not always been at it, but we've managed to grind out the 3 points. But this time we didn't. That's how it is. It wasn't help going behind very early, was it? And we never really got going in that half until very late. 7 minutes it was, wasn't it? Walker Peters, he's never scored a Premier goal in his life before. Obviously, I wish our right back could perhaps do something like that, but I'm not going to slag our Walker off. I love our Walker, of course. But he hadn't scored previously. Should he be allowed to get that long run? Foden, I thought, was very poor. Didn't pick him up, just sort of give up as he moved through midfield. And he took it superbly. You can't take anything away from it. That was a fantastic goal. Just one of those goals. There's not a lot you can do about it. Edison couldn't do much. Again, it wasn't the greatest fight back by City. It took time. It never really got going. And 23 minutes, of course, he had it in the net again. I've just rewatched highlights on Match of the Day. And it said it was tight. I don't think it was a good 2 or 3 feet offside from what I saw. Broja he took it well in the end, but hey, it was offside, so it doesn't matter. 33 minutes, that wasn't featured on Match of the Day or even mentioned so I've not had a chance to watch it back, guys. I don't know, and obviously it caused Mr. Grealish to be very angry in the tunnel, apparently, at half-time, but it was all sorted out. Badnarek was yellow carded for a nasty tackle on Grealish, but Match of the Day never even thought of showing it. Fair enough. 35 minutes, the first real City chance, wasn't it? Sterling had been pretty inept, but then again, not just Sterling, the whole team had been pretty inept. I'll be honest with you. Passes were being sold short. We weren't finding the spaces. We just didn't look at it, and obviously Sterling, as the rest of the team, didn't look at it, and he put one just over and slightly wide on 35 minutes. And then 39 minutes. Well, this is what, I did say a few weeks ago when Sterling started to hit a little bit of form. If Sterling's our main guy for scoring goals, I do worry. Foden, brilliant work down the left. Ball came across. He's got to score. Sterling has to score from there. We've seen him do it before. We've seen him miss even harder ones, even easier ones than that. I mean, it was easy, but I've seen him miss, and it should have been 1-1. And to be honest with you, I think we would have got on and won the game from that point. It equalised at that stage, but very poor from Sterling. So half time, 1-0 down. Yeah, I think Saints did okay. Probably deserved it. They had to go. I think the match of the day, and it's a word I use, and match of the day used it. I've just had a quick look back before I did this vlog. They were brave, and Southampton were brave. They were brave at the Etihad. They have a go, and City are always prone to struggle a little bit. A team, they were not firing, which again, we weren't totally firing yesterday. We are going to struggle against teams who are braver. We did lack a bit of intensity, and we did struggle. And we didn't even start the second half that great. It was actually almost 2-0. A Ward-Prowse corner. I remember watching it. We were up the far end, so you didn't get the greatest view. But I just thought it was a pretty good save from Edison. It was just a reflex thing. It was slightly to one side. It wasn't though it's straight at his head or anything like that. He literally had to do it to one side. And I think it's Bednarek, whatever he's called, sort of back header, and it was blocked instinctively by Edison. So that was a bit of a let-off. It could have been 2-0, and to be honest with you, would we have come back from 2-0 yesterday? We might have given it a good go, but it wouldn't have been easy. 53 minutes not really going to plan. Broja got through again, didn't he? And it was a last-ditch Laporte effort, which under other circumstances, excuse me, sometimes that could end up being a foul and a penalty, but he timed it perfectly and blocked it. Would Edison have blocked it? I'm not too sure. But again, we could have been 2-0 down again. And then Saints hit the post as well from the consequent corner, so with a header. So, it wasn't great. We hadn't started that second half on fire. It was 59 minutes, so 15 minutes almost into the second half when Rodri sent a glancing shot that just hit the crossbar. It never looked as though it was going in from our angle. We were right behind it. I was right in the corner, of course. Never looked as though it was going in, but it just hit against the bar. 60 minutes, Jesus came on for a poor Sterling. Certainly added something as far as an attacking force for City and as far as a falling over force for City. He certainly did that. 65 minutes, finally from a set piece. I mean, I didn't celebrate too much. I just thought it looked so offside to me, but obviously Laporte timed his run perfectly and headed in. I say that the thing with VAR now is I just don't get overly excited by these things. I wanted to, obviously, but it's 1-1. It's 1-1. We've got to win these games. So I wouldn't have perhaps bounced about anyway, but great. And obviously you wanted to celebrate, but all the guys running back to the halfway line to kick off again, which is fair enough. We've got to be winning these games. So at 1-1, Laporte, you're not going to get mobbed in the corner, mate. So that's how it is. 70 minutes, KDB hit the post, but again, it never looked in. It always looked as though it was just going to be the wrong side of the post or glance out rather than go in off it. Probably going to go out. Studs on Laporte, of course, it was touched upon in match of the day, which they're saying it's a bit dodgy, isn't it? And he showed that great image with his waxed legs of the cut after the game, but there you go. I appreciate what match of the day is saying, and I would have been a little bit miffed it had been a City player, but I've seen City players do similar things and get sent off. So, again, that's just interpretation, isn't it, unfortunately. 79 minutes, KDB appears to have fouled on the edge of the box, and he was fouled, but again, Hooper, absolutely useless, didn't even pick on the foul to give a free kick, and it did look on the line. So in theory, it should have been a penalty, but again, VAR can't do much once the useless referees made a decision on the pitch. Sadly, the few minutes that happened between that because that KDB check on the edge of the box wasn't checked immediately. The play had carried on, and that plus the studs incident previously on Laporte. Those two VAR checks, I think Match of the Day said it, but it did ruin the flow of City. We were sort of getting back into it, and it sort of broke up our flow, and that was it. That was it, really. A second half that was really better from City, but not great. It wasn't good enough, and that early Saints goal certainly helped them as we huffed and puffed. I was a bit surprised. I'm not going to bang on about it. At the end of the day, we should have been good enough. They don't seem to have ball boys at Southampton to throw the ball back, so City players were literally having to chase around to get the ball to give it back to Southampton for throw-ins and goal kicks, free kicks, you name it. because there's no one making any effort. I'm sure if it's the other way around, it's a decision made from the start. I think I've not seen any other Southampton games if this is a normal thing for them. But obviously, if Southampton were a goal behind, I'm sure stewards and the fans will be getting the ball back to them a lot quicker. I just wasn't happy with that. I think all ground, it's a compact ground, so the ball doesn't travel that far. There's one instance near the end of the game where KDB couldn't see the ball. He'd won a corner and the ball had deflected, and he had to be pointed out where the ball was. He was looking around looking for the ball, and it's only a few seconds, but I mean, all these seconds matter in a game like that. And yeah, I'm not happy with the way Southampton don't have ball. I think it's disrespect. I think it's anti-football. I don't think it's right. And I'm not going to bang on about it. I am banging on about it, but I'm just very angry about it. I just don't think it's right. I think there should be a level in the Premier League. You have ball boys or you don't have ball boys. In the same way, you have spare balls or you don't have spare balls. Obviously, Southampton didn't have spare balls around the pitch. They just had the one ball. So it's how they play. And if it's, as I say, if it works against them and they go goals behind, then obviously they're running around after the ball. But as I said, I'm sure other help would come into play then if it was Southampton who needed the help around, let's face it, 80% of the ground where it's Southampton-based fans and stewards. Yeah, so there you go. Bit disappointed. Key stats, yeah, shots 7 by Southampton, 3 on target. 20 by City, 5 on target. Not good enough. Possession, 75% for City. Completion rate, 65% for Southampton, 90 for City, and we still didn't beat them. Not great, but yeah, Southampton were okay. As I said, they were brave. They probably deserved a point, even though I don't like the little bit of anti-football that I saw yesterday from Southampton and Hasenhüttl, who obviously condones it, if you like. Right, match ratings, guys. Stuart Brennan is for the MEN. I think, I've not double-checked that, but forgive me. I didn't get home till 1 o'clock and I was doing it last night, so I think it's Stuart Brennan. My apologies, Stuart, it isn't. And for myself, my starting score is just going to be a basic 6. If they played okay, they'll get a 6. If they played worse, they'll get less. If they played better, they'll get more. Right, Stuart's comments first, then mine. Edison had no chance with the Saints' goal and was similarly helpless from their other decent chances. So Stuart's give him a 6. I'll give him a 6.5. I thought he did 2 great saves. He did make a mistake where there was an offside for Southampton. He did foul the player, and he didn't know the player was offside. So again, when he ran out and just fouled the player, but that was in the first half. But apart from that, as far as I could remember, he made a couple of good blocks, especially that back header from Bednar, wherever he's called. So I'm going to give him 6.5. I think he's certainly worth half a point better than average. Kyle Walker, pointless crossing in a headless first half, but he found a degree of subtlety after the break. Yeah, give him a 6. I'll agree with a 6. A lot of industry, but he never looked like he was going to supply a killer pass or a killer cross or score a goal like the other right back did. So, yeah, I'll give him the steady 6. Ruben Diaz had to dig deep after the first half when runners were passing him, and he showed up after that. Yeah, so just give him a 6. I'll have to give him a 6. Not his most effective game when we were under pressure. It was his partner Laporte was pulling us out of the bad games, but you can't bad moves. But you can't say Diaz had a great game. It was just okay. Aymeric Laporte, probably the pick of the defenders. He was in a difficult first half, and then scored a big goal. He did. So Stuart's give him a 7. I'll give him a 7. I'm not going to go mad with the score like Diaz. Not quite at it in that first half. Couldn't a couple of times. He stood his ground. The ball went past him. 2 very good tackles that I remember, and of course the goal. So he is going to get a 7 from me in a not the greatest team performance. Cancelo, some awful crossing decision making until he found his mojo in the second half. Well, this is it. You can sort of say that about most of the players, not all of the players. So Stuart's give him a 6. I'm going to give him a 6. Defending pretty woeful, never there. Laporte is covering all the time on the left-hand side. If Cancelo isn't creating or doing much up front, what's the point? I don't see the point of attacking defenders, if they're not creating much and they're not defending. My thoughts, but we'll give him a standard 6. Rodri couldn't stem the counter-attacking tide, but City put City on the front foot after the break again. It's tale of 2 halves, isn't it? 6 from Stuart. I'll give him a 6. I thought it was okay. I didn't see him as much yesterday as I perhaps do. A bit lack of effectiveness was sort of played round him, certainly in that first half when Southampton had the ball and dominated some of the play. Passed him by a bit for me, Rodri. Again, not his greatest. KDB, the game passed him by for 45 minutes, says Stuart, but plonked it on Laporte's head and almost won a penalty. So Stuart's give a 7. I'm going to give him a 7 as well. I thought he never stopped yesterday. A real battling performance. Again, some passes were under hit, etc. but he just kept going, and he deserved an assist. He perhaps deserved a goal. As I said, didn't really look as though it was ever going. But I was quite impressed with KDB. A lot of industry yesterday, despite obviously perhaps lacked a little bit of that flair. But he can only do what he can do, and sometimes he's let down by the guys around him. Bernardo Silva, ceaseless efforts to try and haul City back into it, but some of the usual quality was lacking. Yesterday, just give him a 6. Again, I'll give him a 6. It wasn't great yesterday. One of his slide tackles, I remember, late on in the second half didn't quite work, and the Southampton player ran away with it. But I did want to see a little bit further up the field, but it was chocker, wasn't it? It was chocker with Southampton's defending. So it's very difficult to work any sort of angles or any sort of space yesterday. And perhaps that's where David Silva's perhaps a little bit better than Bernardo at doing that, but not quite got that little ability to just create that little bit, that drop of the shoulder, that little bit of space. But I'll give him a 6, and say like Stewart, but just not as effective as normal. Raheem Sterling, well, this is the problem one today. Began by taking wrong options and going to sleep on the ball, then missed the sitter he did. So Stewart's giving him a 3. I'm not going to give him a 3. As I say, the first half, most of the City players were 4, 5s or 6s. I am going to give him 5. I'm being generous. I'm going to go 4, 4.5, but I'll just give him a 5. Poor miss. But I'm not going to knock him that further down to the rest of the team, because I thought the whole team performance was poor. So I'm not going to do what Stewart's done there and done a big difference between him and everyone else. He was poor, but again, everyone else was. He had a couple of things, that shot that just went over the bar. At least he was there trying, but nothing worked, and nothing was working up front for us yesterday anyway. So I will give him a 5. Stewart, just give him a 3. Foden placed on a plate for Sterling with a constant menace in the second half. So just give him a 7. I thought Foden was rubbish, to be honest with you, yesterday. I thought he's there. Yes, he's buzzing about, but he's very ineffective. He should have done better with that goal. He should have stopped Walker Peters, or at least made an effort. He didn't even look as though he could be bothered. And this was 7 minutes into the game. It wasn't the 93rd minute. It was knackered. I just thought generally he wasn't at it again. And apart from that thing for Sterling, which was superb, don't get me wrong, I just have to give him an average mark of 6. I don't think he was anything special. Jack Grealish, candidate for the hook in the first half hour, but started to create problems for Saints as the game wore on. Give him a 6. Stewart's give him a 6. I'll give him a 6. I thought his style was cramped by the Saints block curl, the rows of players at the back. I thought he did okay, but nothing dangerous, nothing to sort of put us through, or it sort of lacked penetration. So it's a bit of nothing from Jack Grealish. He was probably one of the better players on the ball and didn't lose it as much as some of the others, but yeah, I mean, Stuart's give him a 6. I can only echo that with a 6. But again, I'm not going to have a downer on him because it was just the whole team. Jesus for Sterling, 60 minutes, 100% improvement on Sterling, says Stuart. Yeah, well, obviously, going to give someone 3 out of 10. He probably is. He's given him a 7. I mean, all right, it was on for half an hour, so I will mark him. I'd give it a 6.5. I thought he fell over too easily, and sometimes falling over too easily wastes time for us as well. But yes, he was 100%. He had a header against the post, didn't he, late on? Did okay with it. Perhaps he could have done better, but I mean, obviously, it was a really tight angle. But yeah, Jesus was fine. There's nothing wrong with Jesus. I just wish he'd stand up a little bit more sometimes. My man of the match, I think it'd have to be Laporte, wouldn't it, for a couple of great blocks and the goal. I don't think anyone came anywhere near him, and he didn't have the greatest game. I'd say probably KDB after Laporte. For his effort he put in and tried to, carry us through, but it didn't work out this week as it has done before. Let me know what you think, guys. Let me know your player ratings. Let me know what you thought City's man of the match was. Simon Hooper, before we go, he's one of the less experienced referees. I think of all the games, I think he's reffed about 37 games. Whatever it is, he's reffed a lower standard as well. He's not always Premier League. I think he does Championship as well and stuff like that. He's one of the weaker referees. We don't have good referees, did he? But he wasn't great last night, I don't think. So our overall record: played 44, won 14, drawn 12, and lost 18. So we've not improved that. 50 goals for, 58 against. Southampton going forward, yeah, I used to quite like Hasenhüttl. I'm getting a bit bored with him now, to be honest. He's having a whinge early in the week about stuff, wasn't he? He's brave. I'll give him that. He's brave. He has a goal. He's done okay with what he has, which is fair enough. It went right yesterday. They scored a brilliant early goal. Whether that's obviously if they would have, without that, but that gives them the impetus, doesn't it? And they've got to score the goal in the first place. Okay, it's a bit, we saw this a few seasons back where City seemed to let a goal in. It's always a wonder goal, and it was a cracking goal. We could have stopped it earlier. They always look capable from set pieces. They could have had 2 or 3 from set pieces. I think the 12th at the moment. I can't see him improving much. It's got to be a bottom 10 finish. They're okay. They're fine. They'll lift the game against certainly against us. I'm not sure they lift the game against other teams, but they've done very well this season. Took 4 points off the champions, so they have done very well. Hasenhüttl's okay. As I say, I don't like the anti-football. I don't like the lack of ball boys. I don't like the way they left their foot in a couple of times and got away with it. But they play to the strengths, and it totally worked for them yesterday. All credit to them. I thought the fans were okay as well. I thought the fans were fine. We were a bit down the City fans at the start of the second half. Once we up the ante, we got a bit lively, but I thought the fans were fine. And some of the better home fans that I've been to at a match, my first visit to St Mary's, they were okay. Yeah, they'll be okay. I would say 12th is about their position. Simple as that. Hopefully next season we can stuff them a couple of times. City going forward, 500 points for Pep. Well done, mate. It could have been 502, but we'll take the 500 points. We've given Liverpool a sliver of hope. We've given the whole media, as Pep said, a sliver of hope. But we know that anyway, and it's nothing. 8 points, whatever, 11 points. You only need to drop a point or three or lose a game, and these things can be picked up. So it's unfortunately psychologically given Liverpool the benefit. They're at Palace today as I'm recording this. But psychologically, all right, the worst comes to the worst. They win the games in hand, the 6 points behind. The worst comes to the worst, they beat us at the Etihad with the 3 points behind. But a lot's going to happen before then, guys. I mean, we've got 4 or 5, 6 games before then, so a lot's going to happen. But I say it's never over till it's over, and I don't think there's any City fans out there think it's over. And I say it only takes a 2 or 3 game bad run, and it's all back in the mixer again. As I said recently, despite the 12-game winning run, I don't think we've been at it. Certainly haven't. When Sterling began to hit a bit of form, I was a bit worried that if he's going to become the guy who would score a crucial goal for us in a tight game. KDB did it against Chelsea, of course. Then I do worry about us going forward, because not enough of our midfielders, if you like, the Bernardo, Foden, Grealish, they're not chipping in with goals, and that's a bit of a worry. We're getting them from set pieces. Our defenders are scoring goals at the moment, which is great. Of course it is. But we have to worry a little bit. I know people say, we got beat. We'll start whinging about strikers now and things like this, but that's not the whole point. Of course, 80% of the time we can beat teams and do it. But some games you just need that little bit of magic. KDB supplied it against Chelsea. We didn't quite have that little bit of magic today, or even that tenacity in goal. So that Sterling miss was horrible. And it sort of knocked us back a bit, and it wasn't until the second half we started to have a go. But again, we probed, but Southampton were good enough to keep us down to 1 goal. But a point away, as I said, looking back, end of the season, that might be a good thing. So after the break, let's start another winning run. Let's start another long winning run and put the lead to bed. But as I say, a bit disappointing before an international break or a winter break, not to go in it with a win. But it's nice to still look at the table and see us at the moment 12 points clear. Obviously that'll decrease in time. No game next week, guys, but there'll be plenty of stuff on the City. As I said, there's always something. 1 vlog a day, sometimes 2 vlogs a day, and obviously I do link ups with other guys on Bolt from the Blue, and I do the In Good Company podcast for Manchester TV. I'm also linking up with the Mancunian Way occasionally now on their little programs, the Premier 20, where we look back at Premier League games. So please join me in all them, and hopefully Mr. MCFC Hibbs will be back in soon. He's got laptop problems at the moment, but I'll be back on that as well, and other things, lots of other things I'm getting involved in. So you'll see plenty of me, hopefully, if that's all right. If you don't mind seeing plenty of me. And it's really, as I said, great for your support, but lots of Citizen stuff coming out. So keep your eyes out for that. There'll always be a vlog a day, even when City aren't playing or there's not a match coming. So please, and there's January City quiz. There will be a prize as well for this guy. So all I need, you don't need to get anything special. Just comment or leave your score or whatever, and there's a prize up for grabs. So that'll be out in the next 2 or 3 days. The January City quiz. 4 games, just 3 wins and a draw. A bit of a blow that, isn't it? After a couple of months of constant winning, but we'll go with that. So please keep your eye out for that as well. Thanks for watching today, guys. It's been a bit longer than normal today, but lots to chat about yesterday at that game. Say it always is. Hope you enjoyed it anyway. Leave me your comments, and thank you so much for your support. Till we meet again, I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.